Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming, those of you who are coming live and those of you who are coming later on seeing the recording. My name is Eden Levine. I'm the owner of Ofek. We are basically a relocation agency in Leipzig. We are helping those who want to come to Leipzig from outside of Germany, and maybe you don't have the language, maybe you don't know how the bureaucracy goes. I can tell you sometimes the Germans even don't know how the bureaucracy goes, but can you imagine doing that in a different language? And yeah, we help with a lot of aspects. We help with the preparation of coming to here, finding what kind of visa you can have, finding an apartment before you come, and so on and so forth. I am encouraging you to check out the website. There we can have, you can see all of the services that we are doing. I'm welcoming you to our first live session here on YouTube. We are going to do that every Thursday at 7 p.m. CET. Basically Berlin time zone, and here is where we are going to allow you to ask some questions. Maybe you have something on your mind, you want to know how to start your relocation process. Maybe you already started it and you want to have some more knowledge about maybe aspects that you've missed. We are not really going to go deep into very specific questions, but we will be really happy to answer for every question you have, maybe about Leipzig, maybe about the relocation process, maybe about how it is to be an expat in Germany or in Leipzig. And I've gathered some questions for today. But if you have any question, feel free to write those in the comments. And please answer the question that I have here on the top, which is, where are you connecting from? I will be really happy to know, where you're from or where you are located at the moment. I'm obviously in Leipzig, but this is the amazing part of being live. You can be from everywhere. And so I'm encouraging you to click on the subscribe button, because as I've mentioned, we're going to do it every Thursday, and you'll have the opportunity to ask some questions and maybe to learn something new. All right, so I wanted to mention something very important. This Sunday we're doing a webinar about the financial aspects of being an expat in Germany, to do the whole relocation. You can imagine that even though this is a huge process, the financial part of it has a huge effect. And it is very important that we make ourselves informed before and even after we do the relocation. So I encourage you to go to our website and check out this webinar. And this is why I also decided that today's live is going to be basically about everything related to financial aspects of relocation. Feel free to ask any other question if you have, but this is something we're going to focus on today. So let's see. If you already wrote where are you from or where you're located at the moment, please make sure to also write where are you originally from. Some people are already expats somewhere else maybe, and that will be really interesting to know. But we're going to start with our first question that I hear a lot. Cost of living. This is something that a lot of people are, let's say, worried about or curious about, since relocation is a lot of the times something that is related to make our life maybe better, maybe the cost of living to go lower. And in comparison to a lot of other countries, Germany can be a very good location to maybe change your cost of living for your own good. But how can you decide if this is a good decision? How can you decide if this is going to benefit you from the cost of living point of view? And what is it, the cost of living in Leipzig in general? So obviously this is a very big question. This is a question that you cannot really answer, in general. Obviously there are some costs that everybody have, but a lot of those costs can vary because of how are we used to work, or how are we transporting, what are we eating, what do we prefer from apartment sizes, or it can be so different. If I am with a family or I'm by myself, that can vary. So I cannot really tell you, okay, Leipzig, in Leipzig, you'll probably spend 2,000 euros or 1,000 euro. But what I can tell you is, if I am comparing Leipzig to other places in Germany, like big cities, like the west of Germany, there are a lot of aspects that in Leipzig, it's still cheaper. So for example, apartment and renting is cheaper than, for example, Berlin, Frankfurt, Munich, Hamburg, Düsseldorf. So basically, it is not that small of a city, but yet still affordable. I would say maybe not for long, but that is a different story. At the moment, it's still affordable. It's still cheaper than other parts of Germany. And there is also a comparison between east and west of Germany still existing. So this is something that you can consider when you're thinking about where in Germany do I want to live in. There are some tools that you can use in order to define what the cost of living could look like. Obviously, again, not a very accurate tool, but at least from a big perspective. If you want to learn more about those tools, in our webinar, we're definitely going to talk about them. But explore, ask around, find people who have similar situation to yours in the city that you want to relocate to. For example, if you find other people with family and children, or if you find people with pets, or if you find vegans who know their way around the supermarket, this could be a good place to start. And now we're going to go to another question that people ask me quite often. So how much money do I need for relocation? Again, a very, very big question, a very wide question, very hard to define per person immediately. This is something that you have to consider a lot of aspects in, a lot of factors. For example, do you want to ship your furniture? Do you want to maybe buy an apartment or rent an apartment? Do you plan on having a car? Are you planning on, studying? So there are a lot of aspects that probably cost money that we have to calculate. But I would say, if I would think about a rule of thumb for a beginning, especially if you are young enough to not, let's say, get stuck in one idea of how relocation should look like, and you're maybe more flexible, then I would definitely say have enough for at least 6 months rent, so that if you have some issues with jobs, if you don't have a job before you come, or if something happens with your visa and you cannot start immediately work, some things can happen during the relocation that can be unexpected. So at least having those 6 months worth of rent can be a good start for you to understand how much you should save in advance. And of course, the more you save, the more money you come with, can be a very big relief for you to be able to play with whatever things are happening. So if you don't find the apartment in your budget, maybe you could increase your budget a little bit because you saved enough to play with it. So have this in mind. Save as much as possible. The moment you know you want to do this relocation, start from there. This is my opinion. Let's go to our next question. which is, can I relocate without a job? That is a very, very common question that I get. This is something that obviously we don't recommend, in a sense of it's always better to have a job in advance, but it's not to say it is impossible to relocate without a job. So obviously for those who don't need a visa, that is a better situation and circumstances than those who do need a visa and do need a job in order to get a visa. But this is something that a lot of people have done before. So you can count on this process as something that has already happened and can happen for you as well if you need to. If you're patient enough, next year there is planned to be a new visa, a job-seeking visa. I don't want to go deep into what this visa is going to be about, but this is going to help people who don't have a job yet to find a job in Germany. So it's kind of a job-seeking visa. But definitely if you have some certificates that you can show, that would be a very good thing to bring. And obviously, if it's from higher education institutions, make the recognition of this certificate so that whenever you come here and you don't have a job, you will have a good, you have good chances to get this job or to get a new job here in Germany. We're gonna have probably a live session dedicated to having a job in Germany, but just so you know, it is possible to come here without a job. So normally in these lives, we're gonna go for 10 minutes of Q&A sessions. So I am already past the 10 minutes, but it was important for me to have kind of a longer introduction just for you to get to know us and to understand what can we bring and what are the reasons that we are doing this kind of live video for you. So if you liked it, please like and subscribe so that we know that we can do more like these and that we should do more like these, and definitely for you to be aware of our next live sessions. So thank you very much for joining us, and I wish you all the luck to come to Leipzig.